Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It's me, your girl, Antinette, the queen of human development, and I'm so happy that y'all could tune in today. Like, I really, really appreciate it. So, for those of y'all who don't know, I do have my own development company, Antinette Develops, also known as TGN Development Company. And I created that company because I'm passionate about winning, but I'm also super passionate about helping others win as well. So I created TGN Development Company because I want to support people in creating a vision for their lives, for their business. I want to support people in creating goals that will bring their vision into fruition. And then I also want to support people in working towards their goals, like being that accountability partner, being that motivation piece, because I know at times, like, it's hard when you're the only one pushing you. It's hard. I know it is, because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one pushing me for whatever reason. So I want to be that accountability piece for you to support you in making your dreams a reality, because you can be anything you think about and work towards. So also to fulfill me, or to support me in fulfilling my mission, I like to do my little videos. So if you go on YouTube and you type in Antinette Develops, you'll see some videos by me. And that's my way of just like having a conversation about things that will support you in growing and being a better you, right? So today I wanted to come on and I wanted to really share my experience to finding a therapist, just like the title says, my experience in finding a therapist. And then I'm also going to share with y'all like the first session as well, because I found a therapist and we have had our first session. And it was amazing, and I'll get into all of that in a few. So the reason why I created this video, the reason why I'm doing this video is because for two reasons. For one, I want to make therapy a part of the conversation. Like, I don't want nobody to be weirded out by the fact that they're seeking therapy. Like, there's nothing wrong with seeking therapy. There's nothing wrong with identifying the areas in which you are broken and fixing it and willing to heal. Like I always say, seek help for your success. And if therapy is what you are doing to seek help for your success, then honey, do it. Bro, do it. Like, seriously, we gotta seek help for our success. And then the other reason why I am, making this video is because I just want to encourage others to seek help for their success, like to find a therapist. Like, it's so important to me. And I wanted, like, for you to understand that it's so important, y'all, especially if you're African American and you from the hood. We need therapy. I don't care. We need therapy. I'm just saying. So I really wanted to do a video today. So I hope y'all watch to the end and y'all really take something from it. Y'all get something from it. So leading up to meeting my therapist, I had a few qualifications, just really one main qualification. And that qualification was the fact that they had to be black. I didn't care if it was a black man, a black woman, but they had to be black. I mean, and I'm not racist or nothing like that, but I'm in the human service field. I'm in the helping profession. I went to school, I'm a social worker. I went to school for administration of human services, got my master's in that. And I know, I've done papers. I know that, like other races can counsel and can help other races. I know that. I've helped other races. So I know that. But I also do know that, more help happens not more help, but like it's better. Sometimes you get a better experience. I'm trying to say this the right way, but it's just the experience is just better when a person looks like you because they can relate more and for other reasons, okay? So I knew that going in, and I knew that I wanted my person to look like me, my therapist to look like me. So it took me like 6 months to find a therapist, and this is where my disclaimer comes in. So if you are in the human service field, if you are a therapist, a psychologist, a social worker, a case manager, a residential worker, or whatever, if you're in the human service field and you work with humans and your job is to serve humans and you get a check for serving humans, it's your job to serve humans. I call 1,000 a therapist, not 1,000, but like 6. And that's too dang much. I called like 6 therapists to try to get somebody to come talk to me, to help me, because I needed help, okay? And no, I couldn't. The system failed me. I really feel like the system failed me. So I really felt some type of way about that. But I eventually, 6 months later, did find a therapist. But I really want you to know, like, if you're in the human service field and you don't take your job seriously, leave. Because I could have been close to cutting my wrist. I could have been close to jumping off a bridge. And I needed you to save me. I needed those 6 therapists that I contacted to save me. And every last one of y'all failed me. Y'all failed me. But I eventually found my therapist. And so far, I'm pleased. Like I said, we only had 1 session, but so far, I'm pleased. And let me explain why I picked her. So for one, clearly, she was black. I picked her because she was black. For 2, she lived close to me. So because she lived close to me, that was one of my qualifications. Like, I didn't really want to travel too far. I was willing to if I didn't find what I was looking for close by. But I really wanted to find somebody close to me. So that was one. She lives, like, literally 15, 20 minutes away from, no, 10 minutes away from my job, and she lives about 15, 20 minutes away from my house. That's nothing. She also was trauma focused, so she focused on trauma. And if you watch my videos, you know I suffer from some trauma, like from my childhood, like some traumatic experiences. I've seen a lot, and a lot of the things that I've seen in my childhood, it does affect the way that I, interact with people, interact with my kids, interact with other people. It does, alter the way I think sometimes. And although I push through, I know me, and I know what happens in my quiet times and in my quiet space, and I need to heal that. I need to seek help for my success in those areas, especially in trauma. And then also sex therapy. I really picked her because she specializes in sex therapy as well. And I believe that once we identify the trauma, we will then begin to focus on, how it's affecting my relationships. So that's why I picked her. My first impressions of my therapist. Well, when I went into the office, it was nice. Like, I instantly inhaled, exhaled, because the aromas that they had going through the office, it was like, it was so good. Like, it was so good. So that was good. My appointment was at 12. So at 12 o'clock, I looked at my watch, and it was 12 o'clock, and I wasn't being greedy yet. But it wasn't no big deal, but I still looked at my watch. At 12:05, I'm looking. That's when I see my therapist walk through the door at 12:05. No big deal. 12:07, she comes out to get me. And I'm like, okay. Now, we in there. She really makes me really comfortable. She asked me, like, what do I expect in the process? And I really wanted to take my my professional hat off. I didn't want to, I don't know what it's called. And if you know what it's called, can you leave a comment to tell me what it's called? But I don't know if y'all heard of this thing where, like, say if it's a doctor or a professional, and if you work in that same, like, profession, and you try to seek help in that profession, then you don't really listen to the help because you're so busy trying to be the doctor while seeing the doctor type situation. So I really didn't want to do that or be that. So I just took my whole hat off. And, so that was a different experience for me. Also, one thing I noticed, like, one of my first impressions was the fact that she was cussing. And for one, let me just tell y'all, like, I really am, like, a cusser, and I'm getting better because the youth that I work with, they cuss too much. And now it's getting on my nerves. So now I'm saying I don't want to cuss no more. But I'm a cusser. So it's so funny to me when I hear other people cuss who I feel are professional. I be looking at them like, why are you cussing? You can't be cussing. But anyway, she didn't cuss that much. But in my thought was like, oh my God, I hope she don't be sitting here trying to cuss up a storm because I'm black and she black, and now we think we're going to be cussing together. Because no, that's not how it's going to go down. But it didn't happen like that. She didn't cuss. But I guess at that moment, her cussing was from me telling, showing my emotion. And that's the emotion that she's showing as well. So I get it. But that was just a first impression that I took a mental note of that I said I would share with y'all. So the session, let me get into the session because it was a good session. We was in there for we started talking, of course we was in there for an hour. So one of the things that I got from the session, she said that I didn't have to protect my mom. And that was like so deep for me when she said that, because I was telling her what made her say that is because as she's asking me about my relationship with my parents, and I'm just telling her the same thing I was saying on my blog, but I'm telling her, and then I start getting emotional. So she's like, well, where's that emotion coming from? And I tell her, I'm like, well, you know, me and my mom, we close. I love my mom. And when I tell my story, I don't want nobody to be like, oh, your mom is this, because my mom is the shit, period. And that's what I need people to know when they hear my story. But we all go through things. So when I told her that, she was like, you know what, Antinette, you don't have to protect your mom no more. That's that little girl in you always wanting to protect her. So that was deep because I never, had nobody verbalize that in a way. So that was one thing I took away from being in my session. The other thing that I took away was the fact that she understood my distrust in people. Like and I didn't even get into fully all details, but we just talking, and then I was telling her about my relationships and how sometimes, I just have trust issues in my relationships. Not just my romantic relationships, like with people. I don't trust people because people is flawed, period. And when I said that, she was like, well, Antinette, how could you trust people with all the stuff that you've been through in your life? Like, how could you? And it was just like oh my God, like, you get it. Not like, it was like, I know I'm not staying there in that distrustful place because at the end of the day, I know that people are good and I do trust people, but that's that foundation of it all. Like, when I get into my quiet thoughts, sometimes those thoughts begin to creep in my mind, like you don't trust people or whatever the case may be. And I do. I trust people. I do know that some people are flawed, but I trust people as well. One of the major takeaways from my session was the fact that I have officially been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Now, I told my mom, I told my friends, and I'm like, oh, Antinette, oh my goodness, I can't. Listen, when she told me that, I already knew that I had anxiety disorder because of all the stuff I've been through. So, and just all the stuff I've been through, like as a child, and then having my own type of relationship and experience of life on my own terms. I've been through stuff, and I always tell my best friend, like, we be on the phone, I'd be like, girl, my anxiety be kicking in, and this and this and that. And like, I already diagnosed myself, but hearing if I can be totally honest and transparent, hearing the official diagnosis, it did really make me, because I'm so big on like mental health, and mental health is real, and this and this and that, and I know how real it is. And hearing that diagnosis really allowed me to like rest in that a little bit, if it makes sense. Like, okay, Antinette, you really you do have a problem a little bit. It's not a game, it's not a joke, and you really gotta monitor your thoughts, and you gotta really like not stress out about things. And when you do have certain thoughts, you really have to step back and say, are these thoughts real? Or these, so mental health is real. And that was one of the major takeaways that I was like, wow, okay. So within the homework, within the session, she gave me some homework. One of the homeworks was I have to journal and just journal about my thoughts and stuff like that. And then she gave me this quiz, and I'm gonna do another video on the quiz, but it was just a quiz that tells me about how I relate to people. So that was very interesting, and I got my results. I had to send them to her, to my therapist, and I can't wait for us to talk on Thursday about my results and how, this began a therapeutic process, because the first session really was just about her getting to know me and me getting to know her and seeing if we're going to really make this relationship work. So that was cool. So I wanted to share with y'all some recommendations that I have, because I really want y'all to seek help for your success. And if you listen, I don't even want to get to it because I'm about to get into my recommendations. So first, I want you to be open. The first recommendation is be open to the idea of therapy. Like, listen, if you come from the hood, or come from the hood that looks like mine, or come from my hood, because a lot of my local people support me. So thank y'all. But if you come from my hood, or you come from a hood like mine, low income, high crime, seek therapy. if we have shared the same experiences, like, you know, being in an abusive relationship, or seeing your parents get abused, or being involved in shootouts on the block, or just if you experience stuff like that, traumatic, if you lost somebody from being killed or whatever, seek therapy. Be open to the idea of therapy. And if you, I just want y'all to be open, okay? Everybody, if you watch this video and this video come across your screen, I need you to be open to the idea of therapy, period. Recommendation number 2, I would suggest going on therapy for black girls now, depending on what state you're in. Like, I'm in Delaware. So when I looked up therapy for black girls like a year ago, I believe that's the website, therapy for black girls. Or if you know the real website, if I'm not saying it right, can you put that comment under my video, please? But if you go on therapy for black girls, you should be able to find a black therapist in your city. Now, like I was saying, in Delaware, when I went there last year, there was no people in Delaware, no black therapists on there. Now, if you go on there, there are, I believe, 2 locations with black therapists on there. So go for therapy for black girls. I didn't find my therapist through there because in Delaware, they're only in like lower Delaware, and it was one therapist or one office that they had in the Wilmington area, but they didn't really have any black therapists there. I mean, she was urban, but she wasn't black, so I wasn't feeling that. But somebody I do know, she went through there and she had a good time. So she said it was good and beneficial to her. So go through therapy for black girls. Now, number 3, if you can't find anybody that you relate to on therapy for black girls, go through your insurance. Medicaid, hello, Medicaid covers therapy. If you get Medicaid, mind you, I was just on Medicaid, so I know. Like, clearly, I was just on there. I lost my job a couple months ago. Remember, I told y'all that? So I was on Medicaid. You might have to be more consistent and persistent with finding a good therapist on there. You might have to loosen up on your qualifications and not be so strict into having, maybe making sure that they're black or whatever. But if you just want to seek a therapist and just start the process, go through your Medicaid or go through your work insurance. Go on their website, Blue Cross Blue Shield, or whoever you got, and find a therapist. That's where I found my therapist at now, and I'm totally pleased. And I want to just let y'all know, I did want to put this in there, that how much it costs, because some people are worried about the cost of therapy and think that is so much. So with my insurance through my job, I still end up paying, it's going to be like $100 a week to go to therapy. Now, what makes, I like my job insurance because they have the HSA account or the spending account with with your job or whatever, and they pay the first half of your deductible. So I'll be able to go to therapy for as long as I want until that card runs out, for the most part, which can last me for the most part all year if I if I budget correctly. So those are my recommendations. Like, be open to therapy. Try looking for therapy for black girls if you want someone that looks like you, depending on what state you're in. They're always adding people because, like I said, last year when I looked, they didn't have anybody for Delaware. But this year they have 2 offices, so they're always growing. In Philly, they had a lot of therapists. So like I'm saying, and depending on where you at, they got you. If you don't want to go on therapy for black girls, if you want to make sure that the therapist that you're going through is going to accept your insurance, then go directly through your insurance. And last but not least, you want to, if your insurance company, your job insurance or whatever, your medical insurance, I'm sorry. But if your medical insurance offers that HSA spending debit card account or whatever, that's awesome, and you can use that towards your deductible if they pay half of your deductible or whatever. So thank y'all so much for listening to my journey of seeing a therapist. I really appreciate it. Yes, and I really want to end off by encouraging you to, if you haven't done so already, or if you're playing with it, if you're even like battling with the thought in your mind, like sometimes you say you think you need therapy, like sometimes you feel like you're about to snap, sometimes you don't respond in the right way, sometimes, or you just need to talk to somebody. I encourage you to find a therapist. Seek help for your success. I encourage you to find a coach or a mentor, somebody that you feel as though that you can, communicate with and get it off your chest, and that's going to support you in growing and elevating to the next level. I really want you to just seek help for your success, because you do deserve it. You deserve to be whole. You deserve to be healed. You deserve to, just heal from everything that was meant to break you in your past. You deserve to grow through everything that could have stunted your growth in the past. You deserve it all, but you have to seek it. You have to seek help to heal. You really have to seek it. You have to want it. And I just hope that by me having this conversation with y'all, it really, maybe helps you to see how important it is, and maybe be just open to the process. Like, just go one time and tell me about how it was. Tell me about how it was. So thank y'all so much, and if you haven't done so already, visit AntinetteDevelops.com, and I really, really appreciate it, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.